In a quiet clinic corner, a trembling puppy sat on the cold metal table. His soft eyes searched the room, not for help, but for mercy. The vet held the syringe tightly, hands shaking, heart breaking inside. Nobody knew the story behind those pleading brown eyes. A silent room, ticking clock, and one innocent life hanging by a thread. The puppy raised his tiny paw, as if asking, "Please, don't do this." It wasn't just a gesture, it was a desperate cry for another chance. Tears filled the vet's eyes. The world seemed to freeze for a moment. How could such pure eyes belong to someone condemned to die? Every heartbeat echoed louder, compassion fighting against duty. The vet looked away, trying to hide the storm inside his heart, but that little paw wouldn't drop. It stayed, trembling in midair. A soul begging for life doesn't need words, it just needs to be seen. Every scar, every wound, told a story of pain and survival. This wasn't just an animal. It was a survivor of human cruelty, and now the decision of one man would decide his fate forever. The syringe glimmered under the clinic light, so close, yet so cruel. Would mercy win, or would procedure take its course? In that moment, everything changed for both of them, because sometimes the smallest plea can melt the hardest heart. The room was silent. Only the faint hum of the fluorescent lights remained. The puppy's breathing grew shallow, his eyes never leaving the vet's hand. Every second felt heavier than the one before. The needle shimmered, a thin line between life and death. The vet swallowed hard, unable to move, unable to decide. He had done this 100 times, but never like this. This puppy wasn't just another case. He felt something deeper. The trembling paw slowly lifted, stopping midway, begging without words. It was as if the little one understood what was about to happen. A tear rolled down the vet's cheek. Landing softly on the cold table, the puppy tilted his head, confused. Why was the man crying? Outside, rain tapped against the window, echoing the tension inside. The world carried on, unaware that a life was pleading to stay. The vet wiped his eyes, trying to remember his duty, but duty never stood a chance against innocence. The puppy whimpered softly, the sound cutting through his soul. Why me? His eyes seemed to ask, and the vet had no answer. Every heartbeat screamed to stop, to think, to listen. He placed the syringe down slowly, unable to go through with it. In that pause, mercy entered the room. The vet exhaled. Trembling, the decision no longer felt simple. He looked at the small creature and whispered, "Not yet." Hope flickered, fragile but alive. The puppy blinked, as if he understood forgiveness, and for the first time that day. His tail moved, just slightly. The vet leaned against the wall, staring at his trembling hands. His mind raced. Why couldn't he just do his job? Every protocol said one thing, but his heart said another. He remembered his oath to heal, not to harm, but this puppy had been abandoned, sick and unwanted. The shelter had no funds, no space. This was the only way. Yet those eyes kept haunting him. He closed his eyes, but all he saw was that paw in the air. It wasn't fear, it was faith. Blind faith in a human's heart. He couldn't destroy that trust. Not again. His co-workers knocked, asking if it was done. He stayed silent, frozen, lost between right and wrong. 1 minute turned into 5. 5 into 10. He still couldn't move. The syringe lay on the tray, untouched, a symbol of choice. Somewhere deep inside, he knew this wasn't mercy, this was murder. He had saved countless animals, yet this one felt different. The puppy wasn't just another file. It was a story of survival. He looked again, those eyes still begged for one more sunrise. He sighed deeply, tears burning behind tired eyes. Could he risk his job for one life? Could compassion outweigh the rules? The vet finally whispered, "If I lose my job, it'll be worth it." Because, at that moment, saving him meant saving himself too, and he knew he would never be the same doctor again. The next morning, the puppy was still there, alive, hopeful, wagging slightly. The vet had stayed the entire night, watching over him. He couldn't explain it. He just couldn't walk away. The puppy licked his hand, warm and grateful. That single touch healed more than medicine ever could. He smiled, the first real smile in months. The shelter manager frowned, asking why the dog was still there. The vet just said softly, "Because he's not done living." There was no medical reason, only emotional truth. Sometimes, a heart doesn't need permission to do the right thing. He fed the puppy, wrapped him in a blanket, and whispered, "You're safe now." The puppy's tail wagged stronger this time. Trust was reborn. A bond was forming, fragile but real. Every whimper, every glance carried a wordless thank you. The vet began to see his own reflection in those eyes. Both were broken by the world, but healing together. He named him Chance, because that's all he ever needed. And Chance responded with love, stronger than any cure. Every time he barked softly, it felt like forgiveness. The clinic felt brighter, even the air lighter. Patients came and went, but Chance stayed by his side. He wasn't just a pet. He was a reminder of compassion. Every doctor, every nurse stopped to smile when he passed, because in one act of mercy, hope had returned to the whole clinic. Weeks passed, and Chance grew stronger. His fur shone. His eyes sparkled. He was finally living. But life had one more test left. Severe infection spread. His wounds reopened overnight. The vet rushed him to surgery, fighting panic in his chest. He worked for hours, hands trembling, praying under his breath, "Please, don't take him from me now." He whispered again and again. Monitors beeped. Hope flickered. Time stretched endlessly. Every second felt like a war between faith and fate. The nurses watched, silent tears in their eyes. They all knew the story, the dog who begged for life, and now he was fighting again, this time to keep it. The vet's voice broke as he called for more oxygen. Chance's heartbeat weakened, then stopped. The room froze silence, then chaos. "Come on, buddy. Breathe," he shouted, pressing on his chest. A minute passed, then two. Then a faint pulse returned. Gasps filled the room. He made it. The vet dropped the instruments, tears flooding his eyes. He pressed his forehead against Chance's fur. "I can't lose you." "Not again," he whispered. And at that moment, everyone in the room cried too, because love had just won its hardest battle. Days later, Chance opened his eyes again, weak, but alive, breathing softly in the vet's arms. The vet hadn't left his side once. He fed him, talked to him, sang softly through the nights. Every heartbeat now sounded like gratitude. The once gold clinic was now full of warmth. Even the staff noticed. "You've changed," they said. He smiled. Looking at Chance, he changed me first. Paperwork didn't matter anymore. Purpose Did he sign adoption papers with trembling hands? Chance wagged his tail weakly. Home at last, the same man who once held a syringe now held hope. He promised never to let fear decide again. Every sunrise felt like a miracle shared between two hearts. He carried Chance outside for the first walk. Sunlight kissed them both. Birds sang. The breeze whispered, "You did the right thing." Neighbors stopped, smiling at the sight of the unlikely pair. Chance barked, proud, joyful, unbroken. Children ran to pet him. He wagged, forgiving everyone. The vet looked up, eyes glistening. Sometimes saving one life saves your own. And in that moment, the world felt right again, because mercy always comes back in wagging tails and healed hearts. The story that began with tears now ended with love, forever remembered, the puppy who begged to live. Mornings in the clinic felt different now, filled with gentle barks and smiles. Chance followed the vet everywhere, his tiny paws echoing on the tiles. The once empty halls now had laughter, warmth, and meaning again. Every patient who walked in saw the little miracle running free. Children would giggle as Chance tried to climb their laps. Old patients smiled, saying, "He's proof that kindness heals." The vet couldn't agree more. He was living proof himself. Before Chance, his world was all numbers, reports, and rules. After Chance, it became about feelings, stories, and faith. He realized healing isn't always found in medicine. Sometimes it's love. The puppy he once nearly lost was now saving lives with joy. Every wag of the tail was a reminder of what mercy created. Even the coldest hearts in the clinic began to thaw. Chance became everyone's therapy, a living, breathing light. Whenever the vet felt tired, Chance would rest his head on his lap. That soft warmth was stronger than any medicine. The man who once held fear now held purpose, and every night, when he locked the clinic, Chance waited at the door. Together, they walked home, tired but happy. It wasn't just a bond, it was destiny. A dog who refused to die had taught him how to live. The vet whispered softly, "You saved me, little one." And somewhere deep inside, Chance understood, because love doesn't need words, only hearts that listen to broken souls. Healed by compassion, now walked as one. By compassion, now walked as one. One night, thunder roared and the sky wept. The vet rushed to the clinic. A power outage had struck. He found Chance trembling under the desk. Scared of the lightning, he picked him up gently, whispering, "It's okay. I'm here." Every flash of light reminded Chance of his past. Fear, cages, darkness. The vet held him close. His heart beat steady and calm outside. Trees bent and rain poured endlessly. Inside, two souls found warmth in each other's presence. The vet realized this fear wasn't just Chance's, it was his own fear of losing someone again. He closed his eyes and prayed silently for peace. The storm outside began to calm, slowly, quietly, but inside, a deeper calm settled, a bond unbroken. Chance looked up, licking away a tear from his cheek. That small gesture spoke louder than 1,000 words. "I'm not afraid anymore," the vet whispered to him, and for the first time, he truly believed it. They slept there, together, on the clinic floor. When morning came, sunlight painted the room gold. The storm had gone, leaving only calm skies. The vet smiled, whispering, "You're my little miracle." Chance wagged his tail tapping softly on the floor. Even nature seemed to bow to their unspoken love, because some storms don't come to destroy, they come to heal, and this one left behind the clearest sky they'd ever seen. Years passed, Chance grew older, slower, but still full of love. His muzzle turned grey, his steps softer, but his eyes shone the same. The vet knew this day would come. He just wasn't ready. One cold morning, Chance couldn't get up. The clinic fell silent. Even the walls seemed to hold their breath. He lifted him gently, his heart breaking with every weak breath. The same table where it all began now held their final moment. He placed a hand on his fur, whispering, "You've done enough." My boy Chance's eyes looked tired but peaceful. It was as if he was saying, "Thank you for letting me live." Tears streamed freely. The vet couldn't hold them back anymore. Memories flashed, the trembling paw, the pleading eyes, the laughter. Every moment they'd shared came rushing back like waves. He held Chance close, feeling the fading warmth of his body. The nurse stood by quietly, wiping her tears. This wasn't just a pet, it was a best friend. "A teacher," he whispered. "It's okay to rest now. I'll see you again." A soft sigh escaped, and then silence. The vet broke down, his cries echoing through the clinic outside. Rain began to fall, as if heaven wept too. The same rain that once witnessed their beginning now marked the end. But even in grief, love stayed strong. Eternal, he held on to the paw that once begged for life, now resting in peace, and he realized, mercy doesn't end in life, it lives on in memory, because true love never really says goodbye. Weeks later, the vet sat alone, writing in his old notebook. He titled the page, "The Dog Who Changed My Heart." Each word carried a tear, a smile, a heartbeat. He wrote about the moment that changed his destiny. The syringe, the paw, the eyes, everything came flooding back. He confessed how that one choice saved his soul. He described how mercy gave birth to purpose, and how one dog taught him more than medical school ever did. Chance showed me that compassion is the truest medicine, he wrote. He left a note framed on the clinic wall, above Chance's photo. Every new vet who joined the clinic read it in silence. It became a story, then a legend, then a belief. People began bringing abandoned dogs to him. "You'll save them, won't you?" He smiled softly. "As long as I can, I will." Chance's collar still hung beside the note, shining like a memory. Every time he walked by, he whispered, "Still with me, buddy." And sometimes, late at night, he swore he heard a soft bark. It wasn't grief anymore, it was gratitude, because Chance never really left, he just moved into his heart. The clinic became a sanctuary, not a shelter. Lives were saved, not ended. Each time a puppy wagged its tail, he felt Chance smiling. He realized love doesn't die, it multiplies. And so, the story of one dog continued, saving hundreds more, because kindness always finds a way to live on. Kindness is never small, it ripples through time, healing unseen hearts. One act of mercy can turn despair into destiny. Love doesn't need words, only courage to listen. Even a trembling paw can awaken humanity's soul when we choose compassion over procedure. We choose life, Every being deserves a second chance, just like chance did, because saving one life can change countless others. The smallest creature can teach the greatest lesson in a world that forgets. Mercy reminds us what being human means, and sometimes the one we save ends up saving us instead.